You know that feeling when you're just like staring into the bathroom mirror
Oh, yeah.
and you're repeating, like, I am successful, I am wealthy, over and over until your throat is literally completely dry.
Right. The classic morning routine.
Exactly. You've got the vision boards up in your office, you've done the morning affirmations, you've aggressively visualized the perfect outcome for months, and yet
Nothing changes.
nothing. You look around, and your reality hasn't budged a single millimeter.
Yeah.
I mean, it is universally, profoundly infuriating. So welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are completely deconstructing this popular and honestly sometimes toxic notion that thoughts create reality all on their own.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It really is.
Mm.
We're looking at this fascinating piece of source material titled The Agreement, How Thought and Feeling Choose the Now You're In. And our mission here is to uncover the actual mechanism, right? Like the hidden physical lever, according to this framework, that truly shapes our lived experience.
Because, the failure of those morning affirmations, it isn't a lack of effort or focus. It's actually a fundamental misunderstanding of the actual mechanics of how we interact with our environment.
Right.
The conventional wisdom that just thinking the right thoughts will, manifest a new life is essentially backward.
Let's just unpack the mechanics of that immediately, because reading this source triggered a massive realization for me about how our brains actually function day to day.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, because a single passing thought, purely on its own, it doesn't move anything.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the reality of the human mind. Our passing thoughts are like thousands of random internet browser tabs opening and closing all day long.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
Right, like you're thinking about a stressful email, then you're wondering if you left the stove on, then you're imagining, I don't know, a cat driving a car.
Oh, naturally.
And then you're suddenly catastrophizing
Yeah.
about a massive presentation. It's just this chaotic flutter of data.
Yeah. And imagine the sheer exhaustion if every single one of those tabs, like every weird, random, catastrophic, or silly impulse, actually possessed the power to alter your physical reality.
Oh my God.
You would have to aggressively police every millisecond of your internal monologue just to survive.
You'd never be able to relax. You'd be terrified of accidentally thinking about, like, a car crash.
Exactly. But the material we are looking at is very explicit about this. Passing thoughts are completely weightless. The thought itself is never the lever that bends reality.
Which forces us to look at what actually does have weight. Because if we examine the broader landscape of, change your reality philosophies, they almost universally treat the thought as the primary engine.
They do. They really sell the idea that if you think the right sentence often enough, the heavy machinery of the universe will eventually just bend to match your words.
Right. But this framework introduces a totally different mechanism. They call it agreement. And agreement is not just a mental exercise. It happens in a very specific, undeniable physical moment.
It's a physiological event.
Yes. It is the exact fraction of a second when a mental thought and a somatic, meaning bodily feeling, land in the exact same place, saying the exact same thing at the exact same time.
Yeah, and to make sure we're really visualizing this correctly.
Let me try an analogy for this, because this helped me so much. It feels like a thought, any thought, positive or negative, is just an unpowered electrical plug.
Ooh, I like that.
Like you can hold that plug, look at it, talk about it, paint it gold, bedazzle it.
Repeat daily mantras about how powerful the plug is.
Exactly. But a plug just sitting on a table does absolutely nothing on its own. It has zero power.
Yeah.
It only becomes a tool that actually does work when it gets firmly plugged into the socket of the body's somatic feeling. The current only flows when that physical connection is made.
That's spot on. Because an unpowered plug cannot turn on a light, no matter how much you visualize the room being bright. The mental thought requires that physical somatic alignment to produce an active signal. According to the premise we're exploring, it is only this combined signal, the brain and the body locked together, that is strong enough to be read by the surrounding environment.
So that combined signal, the agreement, is what actually selects the timeline or the now that you experience.
Exactly.
But okay, what does this agreement actually feel like in a normal Tuesday afternoon scenario? Because if mind-body alignment is the ultimate key, like if that is the current flowing through the wire, we really need to know how to recognize the physical sensation.
Right. We aren't talking about some abstract mystical meditation state here.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is it mystical?
Not at all. It is deeply, unmistakably physiological. The feeling of agreement is described as a spontaneous exhale that arrives crucially before your conscious mind has even decided to relax.
Oh, wow. That is so specific. It's that moment you haven't even told yourself to calm down. You haven't like taken a deep breath on purpose,
Yeah.
but your body just involuntarily drops.
Yes. It's a spreading warmth in the chest. It's a literal mechanical loosening of the muscles in the shoulders and the jaw.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, it is a profound internal sense of course, or obviously. The crucial identifier here is the total lack of effort.
The lack of effort. That makes sense.
Right, because your nervous system recognizes something as already true. So zero muscular or chemical resistance is required to hold it there. When a thought lands and your body responds with that immediate, unforced softening, you are witnessing the signal going live.
Which naturally leads us to the dark side of this equation.
Oh, here we go.
Because if the spontaneous exhale is the green light,
Huh?
what is the red light? Because I know exactly what my body does when I'm trying to like sake a positive attitude. And it definitely doesn't feel like a spontaneous exhale.
Well, that brings us to the feeling of disagreement. And honestly, this is the exact trap where most positive thinking practices completely fall apart.
The dreaded somatic. But
Yeah, the somatic butt.
Yeah.
The material describes it as the held breath, the subtle bracing.
it's that tiny, almost imperceptible tightening low in your stomach that sort of hides underneath a really hopeful sentence.
Exactly.
Let's make this grounded for everyone. You open a credit card bill, and it is double what you expected. Your brain immediately starts reciting, money flows to me easily and effortlessly.
Right, the immediate panic response disguised as positivity.
Exactly. But underneath that sentence, your stomach is completely plummeted, your jaw is locked tight, and your heart rate is spiking.
You're in fight or flight.
Right. So, wait, let me push back on this, or at least play out a scenario. Let's say I'm marching into a massive career-defining meeting.
Yeah.
Out loud, I am confidently saying, I'm going to ace this presentation. I am the best person for this job.
You're doing the superhero power pose in the bathroom.
Yes, doing the pose. But internally, my digestive system is tying itself into complicated, terrified knots. I have a positive plug, but a completely panicked socket. Who wins that tug of war?
It's not even a contest. When a thought says one thing, but the body is already actively saying another, the body signal is the one doing the choosing.
Wow.
The body possesses absolute veto power over the mind.
So the body just unilaterally overrides the brain's instructions, just like that.
Without question. And to understand why, we really have to look at the evolutionary and biological context underpinning this. The somatic feeling, your nervous system's chemical and electrical response to the environment, is infinitely older, radically faster, and just fundamentally more trusted by your biology than languages.
That makes so much sense. I mean, language is so new.
Exactly. Your body has been reading, interpreting, and surviving reality for millions of years. It was keeping your ancestors alive long before the invention of vowels and consonants.
Right.
A millions of years old survival supercomputer simply does not get overruled by a recently invented brightly colored sentence.
So if the body's nervous system is basically bracing for a tiger and the brain is saying, I am safe and wealthy, the overarching system relies on the tiger protocol.
Every time.
But here is where I'm getting a little cognitive whiplash, I have to admit.
Okay, lay it on me.
The source talks about selecting a metaphysical timeline or, choosing reality. But we are talking about basic evolutionary biology right now. Adrenaline, cortisol, nervous system responses.
Right.
How does the text bridge the gap between, like, a biological stomachache and the metaphysical selection of a reality?
That is the pivotal bridge in this framework, actually. The source doesn't view the nervous system merely as a passive receiver that reacts to the world. It frames the somatic state as the actual interaction point.
The interaction point.
Yeah, the literal tuning fork that resonates with and selects the external environment. Your biological state is the frequency.
Oh, I see.
When your nervous system braces, it isn't just preparing for an impact, it is actively tuning your reality to a frequency where an impact is inevitable.
Wow. This completely explains why toxic positivity fails so spectacularly.
It really does.
We are out here trying to trick an ancient, sophisticated survival mechanism with a bright pink sticky note on the bathroom mirror. It's a fundamentally flawed strategy.
Yep.
You cannot outsmart your own central nervous system with a catchy slogan.
You really can't. And the source provides two distinct examples that really cement how this veto power functions in our daily lives. Let's look at the first one. Thinking positively while the body braces for disappointment.
Like the promotion scenario.
Exactly. You are repeating, I'm going to get this promotion. Everything is working out perfectly. But your shoulders are hiked up to your ears, your breathing is shallow, and you are secretly terrified of the rejection email.
Right.
Because the thought and feeling are in disagreement, the feeling, which is older, faster, and louder, makes the selection. The bracing timeline is the one being chosen and pulled into your experience, completely ignoring what the positive thought claimed.
So the body is broadcasting the signal.
Yeah.
We are in danger. Prepare for impact. And so the reality that gets locked in is the one that actually delivers the impact.
Yes. But the mechanism applies in reverse, too, and this is where it gets incredibly liberating, I think.
Okay, I need some good news here.
The second example is holding a feared thought while the body has already settled into ease.
How does that work?
Imagine your mind is spinning up a worst-case scenario. What if I get fired? What if everything falls apart? But for whatever reason, maybe you're sitting in the sun, maybe you just had a really great meal, your body is completely relaxed.
Oh, I've had moments like that, where my brain is panicking, but my body's just chill.
Exactly. You are breathing deeply, your limbs feel heavy and grounded. According to this framework, that feared outcome doesn't manifest. The disaster doesn't happen.
Because the agreement was with the physical ease. The fearful thought about getting fired was just an unplugged cord.
Precisely.
The body refused to provide the somatic socket for it, so no electrical current flowed, and no disaster reality was actually built.
The thought lacked the physical density to become a command.
Man, that lifts an enormous burden. It means we don't have to be terrified of our own anxiety. We don't have to panic every time a negative browser tab opens in our brain, as long as we don't let our nervous system physically buy into the catastrophe.
Right, it takes the pressure off policing your thoughts.
But it also presents a really difficult practical challenge.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, if tricking the body doesn't work, and we can't fake alignment with affirmations, what are we supposed to do when we are actually in a bad situation?
That's the big question.
Because the immediate temptation is to try and strong-arm the body into relaxing. Like, okay, my physical tension is ruining my life, so I am going to force my stomach to unclench right this second.
Yeah, and the material explicitly warns against doing exactly that.
Of course it is.
Because attempting to manufacture a physical feeling to match a hopeful thought is just another sneakier form of disagreement. It's a thought desperately reaching for a sensation that isn't naturally present.
It's just more stress, really.
Exactly. Your nervous system is incredibly sensitive to authenticity. It immediately registers forced relaxation as a performance, which is, yeah, just another flavor of stress.
So the body absolutely knows when you are faking the exhale.
It knows. It always knows. Therefore, the true movement has to run in the opposite direction. Instead of starting with a grand, sweeping, positive thought like, I am going to be a millionaire tomorrow, and trying to drag your reluctant body into agreeing with it, you have to reverse engineer the process.
Reverse engineer it, okay.
You must search for where the body can genuinely meet a thought. You have to locate the ease that is real, not performed.
And the author suggests that sometimes the ease is already quietly there, right? Just sort of waiting to be noticed underneath the panic.
Yes, exactly.
That implies we don't need to force a massive world-changing alignment all at once. If I can't get my body to believe I am perfectly healthy and everything is fine, maybe I can find a smaller thought that doesn't trigger the bracing. Well, maybe my body can genuinely agree with the thought, I am sitting in a comfortable chair right now, and in this exact second, I am breathing.
Yes. That is the core practical application. You are hunting for the genuine meeting point, no matter how small or mundane, where the thought and the somatic feeling can rest in the exact same place without any internal friction.
Frictionless meeting.
Right. And this state of genuine, frictionless meeting is given a very specific name in the text. It redefines a word we use constantly in normal conversation, surety.
Right. Normally, when we talk about having surety, we are talking about the future. Like, I have surety that my team will win the championship next week.
Exactly.
Or we use it to describe confidence built up through a mountain of evidence. You gather enough facts until you are sure.
But the framework strips away that entire future-focused evidence-based definition. Here, surety is not certainty about a future outcome. It has absolutely nothing to do with gathering evidence.
Then what is it?
Surety is simply the felt agreement, present tense, in the physical body right now. It is the absence of the somatic but.
Okay, I have to stop here because my logical brain is really struggling with this present tense concept.
Let's get into it.
Because the text makes a massive claim here. It says there is no waiting period
Yeah.
or gap between cause and effect. If I find agreement right now, does that mean reality changes instantly?
It does sound radical, yeah.
Because that starts sounding a lot less like biology and a lot more like magic. If I find a state of true bodily surety right this second, does my external world shift in that very instant?
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through this. Like, explain this to me like I'm 5 years old.
I can do that. It is the most challenging, profound concept in the material, and it is definitely not magic. It's really about redefining what the now actually is.
Okay.
Imagine a computer rendering a highly detailed video game.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
The now that you see on the monitor, the trees, the buildings, the lighting, is just the immediate visual readout of the code currently running in the background. The text states that your lived reality, the physical circumstances surrounding you, is simply the monitor's readout of an agreement already in motion.
Wait, so the external world is just the screen,
Yes.
and my internal mind-body agreement is the underlying code.
Exactly. So when you find that genuine internal agreement, you aren't pointing your intention toward a different now sitting somewhere in the future, hoping it arrives next Tuesday. The agreement is the selection.
Wow.
The text puts it this way: surety is the agreement, and the agreement is the selection. There's no waiting period between them. When you change the code in the system, the pixels on the screen update immediately to reflect the new data.
Which means the life I am standing in right this second isn't something I have to painstakingly change later through years of grinding effort.
Nope.
It is the immediate, direct manifestation of whatever mind-body code I'm currently running. So if I am trying to shift my reality, staring out at the horizon, waiting for a delivery truck of good luck to arrive is just pointless.
Completely pointless.
My job is to look inward, right now, and alter the internal code that the screen is reading from. By changing the agreement in my body in this exact second, I have already shifted the timeline because I am instantaneously generating a new signal.
Yes, you aren't building toward a result. The genuine meeting of thought and body isn't a cause that eventually produces an effect later down the line. The act of agreement is simultaneously that act of building the new reality.
This entire perspective completely dismantles how we normally approach our struggles. I mean, we started this deep dive talking about the sheer frustration of aggressive positive thinking that goes absolutely nowhere.
Right, the bathroom mirror affirmations.
Yeah, and through this framework, we see that your current reality is not a puzzle you are failing to solve. It's not a reward you have to earn by exhausting yourself mentally. You don't have to ruthlessly monitor those thousands of random browser tabs popping up in your brain, terrified that a stray negative thought will ruin your life.
The exhausting burden of constant mental policing is entirely removed. The thought is just a plug. Keep it away from the socket, and it is harmless.
Your life is just the screen displaying whatever mind-body agreement is currently plugged in. I guess the ultimate takeaway is to stop trying to strong-arm feelings into existence.
Absolutely.
Stop shoving an unpowered plug against a blank wall where there is no socket, screaming at it to produce light. We have to start looking for the genuine meeting points. Find the thoughts, however small or simple, that your body can honestly accept without flinching.
It requires a massive shift, honestly, from forceful, top-down mental manipulation to quiet, bottom-up physical observation. You have to start listening to the somatic truth of your nervous system rather than trying to shout over it with loud, brightly colored affirmations.
Which is so much easier said than done, but it's such a profound shift.
It really is.
And we spent this entire time dissecting how your own internal agreement shapes the world you experience. But it really leaves you to wonder about the implications outside of your own head.
What do you mean?
Well, what happens when your somatic agreement inevitably collides with someone else's entirely different reality readout?
Oh, that's a whole other layer.
Right. Like if you walk into a crowded room, fully vibrating in a somatic reality of ease and success, but you bump right into someone whose nervous system is braced for conflict and disaster, whose now actually wins the interaction.
That is fascinating.
If we are all walking around constantly generating our own signals, how do those competing frequencies negotiate with each other in the physical world? Just, something to chew on the next time you're stuck in traffic or navigating a tense office meeting.
Definitely something to think about.
Keep checking those internal browser tabs, you guys. But remember, it's only the ones your nervous system clicks on that actually download the reality. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Catch you next time.